Mhm.
Welcome to LA Press Box, everybody.
We're glad you're with us once again as we get set for the series finale between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Arizona Diamondbacks at Chase Field. Whether you're blacked out, away from a television, listening when you're on the road, or just simply looking for a deeper way to follow Dodgers baseball, LA Press Box is your live game companion. Our live command center will handle the live numbers while we focus on the trends, matchups, and the stories. And a big one, of course, is the fact that the Dodgers finally snapped their 7 game losing streak yesterday, their longest of the season, and it took more than regular time. They went into extra innings to get it done. They got the 2-1 victory in those 10 innings, with Yoshinobu Yamamoto really giving LA a much needed boost with 7 scoreless innings. And they survived another tense late development after Kyle Tucker hit a home run in the 8th, Edwin Diaz giving up a save opportunity for the second day in a row. And then, amongst other people, Shohei Ohtani getting it done in extra innings by legging it out and getting on base ahead of a double play that ultimately gave the Dodgers the winning run. So, moving forward, the question is this a one-game blip or is this the beginning of a turnaround? Only time's going to tell. But there's going to be a very interesting couple of days ahead of the Dodgers. One is today, which we'll talk about in a moment, and tomorrow when they return for another brief homestand, where Tarek Skubal is going to make his Dodgers home debut, and then the following day, where Blake Snell finally is healthy enough to return to the Dodgers lineup and is supposed to start on Tuesday. So we'll see what happens over the next week. It could be a really, really pivotal time in the Dodgers season. As of now, over the last 10 games, the Dodgers remain 2-8 over that stretch. And they're coming into a game, fortunately, for the first time in a while, off a win. But they've had a lot of different things that they've done poorly or that they haven't executed well over the course of this struggle. One is just too many isolated scoring opportunities where they don't rally, they don't move runners along, inconsistent starting pitching, and today is going to be a really key viewpoint from that standpoint in the case of Justin Robleski. A bullpen that's really kind of struggled to close games the last couple of days, but also has been overtaxed as a result of the fact that their starting pitching has struggled. So that's the Dodgers, brief life in the last 10 games. As far as the Diamondbacks go over that stretch, they are 7-3. And they're still one of the hotter clubs over the recent sample size, if you will, in the majors. And one is because they have quality at bats throughout the order. They're not putting up a bunch of runs on the Dodgers, that's for sure. But they are difficult outs. We're going to take a look first and foremost at the left side of the ledger with Justin Robleski. So as you can see over my shoulder, he's got a win-loss record of 11-3 with an ERA of 3.31. and a whip of 1.07. But the biggest thing is his last 2 outings. If you look over his 3-game stretch, July 21st at Philadelphia, he pitched in that game, and that's still, of course, pretty recent, the way that the Dodgers have come to expect this first-year All-Star to perform. This is, to this point, or at least until the last 2 games, been a breakout season for Robleski. He pitched more than 6 innings. He gave up 5 hits, but had 7 strikeouts and no home runs. But turn the page and go to his next start, July 28th versus Seattle. And that was a big reversal. He gave up 4 home runs to the Mariners with a lot of pitches in the strike zone, just kind of sitting there and allowing Seattle to tee off. The last start, August 3rd at Chicago, the home run problem continued. He gave up another 4 home runs in a relatively brief start. So needless to say, the keys for him is to throw strikes, but not down the middle of the plate, and to not give up the long ball early, because that's something that's been a nightmare for a lot of us Dodger fans during this time that the Dodgers have struggled. The pattern has been, kind of get behind early, even if the first inning we come out like kind of gangbusters and we score first 1 or more runs. We still have typically found ourselves behind by inning 3 or 4, trying to climb back into it. And if we do, to pull even or maybe even briefly get a lead, we've seen pitchers like Robleski give up the long ball and just kind of take the heart out of the Dodgers lineup. The group that's going to be backing Wroblewski on defense, you can see there. Rortvet's going to get the catching position today, kind of going back and forth between he and the other catcher that the Dodgers have recently acquired before the signing, or excuse me, the trading deadline. Freddie Freeman at first, Tommy Edman at second, Betts at short, and Hernandez, Kike Hernandez that is, at third base. So we'll see where Max Muncy fits in, if he does, but chances are, as the Dodgers staff has decided to do later in the game, when somebody who like Max Muncy, or reversely, it could be Kike or it could be Tommy Edman, is on the bench, usually they get a chance to come to the plate, make a difference late in the game. In left field, it'll be Teoscar Hernandez and Andy Pages in center, Kyle Tucker in right field. That defense and Wroblewski is facing a solid batting order, at least when you look at all of these categories for the Diamondbacks bats going back to the beginning of the season. Batting first for them will be Geraldo Perdomo. Then in second spot, Corbin Carroll with a lot of speed and aggressiveness on the base paths. Number 3 will be Gabriel Moreno. Number 4, Ketel Marte. Then followed by Arenado. 6th spot, Vargas. 7th spot, Tim Tawa. 8th spot, Locklear. And the 9th spot, Waldschmidt, who really was kind of a dagger 2 games ago when the Dodgers looked to be breaking their losing streak, and he hit a walk-off home run to end the game. On the flip side, Eduardo Rodriguez is going to get the start for the Diamondbacks. He's 10-4 and in the top 20 in the majors for wins. His ERA is 2.71, has 92 strikeouts, but also has 45 walks. You can see where the Diamondbacks defense sets up behind him. Moreno is the catcher, Locklear at first, Vargas second base, Perdomo short, Arenado at third, Waldschmidt in left field. Tawa moves from first base to center field, and then Carroll in right field. Going back to the beginning of the season for the Dodgers batting, they still rank in the top 10 in every category. And as we've always pointed out since we developed this command center a couple of weeks ago, when you look at the Dodgers lineup individually, anytime somebody has a category where they score or they're averaging in the top 20 amongst all players in baseball, that category will be highlighted in yellow. When it comes to Shohei Ohtani, he is in the top 20 for every batting category, led by his average of 294. Andy Pages, playing center field, is in his second spot, batting 270. Freddie Freeman is a couple of ticks lower than he was a couple of days ago, but still above 300 at 304. Tommy Edman gets the cleanup spot, batting 287. Mookie Betts in the 5th spot at 231. Kyle Tucker at 244, followed by Teoscar Hernandez at 252. And Kike is going to be in the 8th spot at 263. And then Ben Hortvedt, who hasn't really played enough for it to register statistically as a Dodger. And at this point, you can see there's about 2 minutes left, but it's pretty obvious what the Dodgers need to do as far as an offense. They have to be disciplined when they attack Rodriguez, and they need to, unlike most of the trend recently that they've shown, is they have to not just get on base, but they have to move runners along and take the opportunities to string together hits that back each other up, that produce runs. Because yes, they rank very highly amongst pretty much every batting category compared to their opponents, but the timeliness of their hitting, where it ultimately produces runs, is what they have to be able to do. And they also, more broadly, have to do a good job from the start. So, of course, we're going to be looking at Wroblewski in terms of his control, the first few at-bats, the first few innings, and hopefully see him limit the number of home runs he gives. And also, if the Dodgers are there when the game is to be had and to be won late, their middle relievers and their closers doing what they're supposed to, and not just pitching well, but also not giving up the long ball. To me, that's been the biggest weakness of the entire Dodger pitching staff. I'm not saying every single pitcher is giving up home runs, but when it comes to them collectively as a group, that's been the thing that's really been the dagger in the Dodgers' heart. So we have a 1-1 score in this lineup where the Dodgers have a 70-47 record and they're first in the National League West, followed by the Diamondbacks at 62-56, second in the National League West. Set to begin here in just a moment. So I'm going to load the 3D, and we're going to get ready for Shohei Ohtani to start us off. Dave Roberts looking pretty animated today. Definitely relieved to get that win yesterday. And today he looks a little more like an active cheerleader, trying to bring some positive energy to start this game off and hopefully get a little bit of momentum. No question that a win today, and as meager as it would be, a 2-game winning streak, would be a nice boost to go back home and have the next couple of games with the pitchers that we mentioned in the preview. So Shohei Ohtani comes up with an average of 294 and 26 home runs. Always feel good when the 3D loads in time for us to actually see Shohei's body, not some kind of 3D glitch. Especially if he ends up surprising us with an opening home run. And that one is grounded foul. And the early count to Ohtani is 1-1. That one brushes Shohei back just a little bit, and now he's heading the count 2-1. He is not holding his bat upside down. And that one also misses high. I don't know why he leaned back like that, but count now is 3-1. And usually when Shohei gets ahead in the count like this and he's on the verge of being walked, he does get walked because pitchers don't want to make a mistake as he's looking for the perfect pitch, although that was a damn good one he could have taken advantage of. In the strike zone, now the count's 3-2. Now he steps out and takes a brief timeout. The payoff pitch swung on and missed for strike 3. Well-placed pitch in the lower inside corner. Outstanding. The encouraging thing is when you look at Shohei's swing on that, he did not open up, pull his head to the right field area, although it looked like his eyes were closed on the replay. And that one to the next batter, Andy Pages, misses high for a ball. In the last 11 games, Andy is batting at .333, so that's definitely a welcome sight for Dodgers fans, as the next pitch is in there for a strike, 1-1. I didn't look it up today, but I'm Kind of curious what the temperature is out there in Phoenix as that one gets fouled back. If you're joining us from out there, let us know in the chat. Andy's batting .270 on the season, even. And that one gets fouled to the right side. And they're trying to chase it, but it bounces into the fence that protects the fans and falls harmlessly. The field out of play, essentially. But Andy's got 75 RBI, which, is kind of, throughout the season it's progressed. Most of the time he's been in the top 20. The gold box that we have set up in the command center that shows when somebody's elite in a batting category is kind of on an average day, usually there, just happens to not be there today. He's probably just outside the top 20. That one misses, and the count is 2-2 to Pajes. And looks at that one for a ball. Now the count's full. So 2 straight full counts to start the game for Rodriguez. Gets the ball back and looks down at the ground and kind of subtly shakes his head at himself. Doesn't want to have this many pitches early on. And of course he was ahead in the count, and now he's not. We'll see if Andy can take advantage of that. This one is swung on and fouled back. So the count remains 3-2. And in the stadium, they're playing, the organist is playing one of the songs from the Violent Femmes, which I was just listening to with a friend a couple days ago. And Andy swings and misses at that pitch, also pretty well placed, not on the corner of the strike zone. 2 straight strikeouts after 2 straight full counts for Rodriguez. So next up is Freddie Freeman, who's batting .304. Also batting over 300, right about there, 300, .301 for his career. Looks at the first pitch for a strike. And the next one, well placed. And Rodriguez has shown some good control early. Good sign for Diamondbacks fans. Kind of painting the edges of the strike zone. On the verge of 3 straight strikeouts, although Freddie Freeman fouls that one off and he still stays alive. If you're joining us for the first time and you haven't done this before, welcome. As a new channel, we'd love if you would share, like, and subscribe, as Freddie just pokes that one foul. And needless to say, LA Press Box is based for LA sports fans. We'll start to cover football as well in a couple of weeks. Football season's right around the corner. But we're also here for fans of other teams, especially when LA sports teams are on the road, who have trouble being able to see whatever team it is that they root for. So let's just say you happen to be in Arizona and you are a Diamondbacks fan. Although there's a lot of Dodgers fans in the audience. I'd love if you shared this with your friends so that they can also enjoy. One of the things that's cool about 3D is we can see different parts of the field. As that one is grounded to short, charged by the shortstop, but throws easily to first base for 3 away. So we go to the bottom of the first, and it's 0-0 with Justin Robleski coming out and hoping that he can wipe the slate clean after the last 2 outings where he's given up 4 home runs each. right, so Geraldo Perdomo, the first challenge for Justin Wrobleski. So usually pitches pretty quickly. So if you're somebody who's not a big fan of long baseball games, I get it. I agree with you. This is one reason why they implemented the pitching clock. But Wrobleski is routinely ahead of that pitching clock. He likes to get the ball back, set, and then pitch the next pitch. And that one misses. And so Wrobleski is behind in the count early. Gets the ball back, takes a big breath. That one also misses, and now the count's 3-1. And Wrobleski walks the very first batter. So the Diamondbacks have their lead batter on. So the number 2 hitter, Carroll, comes up, who's batting .242 with 16 home runs. And Wrobleski challenges him right now, not happy about the first walk, and is able to turn the first pitch into a swing and a miss. And make that 0-2 now. I like Wrobleski's body language early, as he gets Carroll to swing at a high ball and punches his first K of the game at this point. And the thing I like about his body language, as I was just about to say, is, when you have some adversity, and in this case, you walk the very first guy. The question becomes, how do you carry yourself, as they would say? He wasn't shaking his head. He didn't look dejected. He just kind of took a deep breath and got back to work quickly and made quick work of the next at bat. Now he's going to face the 3-hitter Moreno. Gabriel's batting .303, 8 home runs. Robo throws to first. Keeps Perdomo relatively close to first base. We'll take a little peek over there and see if he's to the first cut. Oh, not really. Early count to Moreno is 1-1. And that one is fouled to the right. Moreno's definitely dangerous. Since June 7th, he's batting .337, 21 RBI. Moreno does quite the stretching routine where he comes back to the box. And this one is grounded to first. Freddie Freeman goes to second, and Mookie Betts and the runner almost collide. And I don't know what the rule is. I don't know if he's got to hit the dirt and get out of the way from defender who's trying to make the double play. But regardless, Dodgers not able to turn the double. But there is 2 outs and a runner at first. So Kettle Marte comes up and takes the first pitch for a strike. Pitch misses outside for a ball. And this one's inside, and Kettle Marte blasts this one inside the foul pole to left for a home run. And now Justin Robleski is up to allowing 9 home runs total over his last 2 starts plus this one that is just underway. So unfortunately, the Dodgers are fitting this losing pattern early, where their starting pitcher gives up home runs and they get into a hole early. So that'll bring up Arenado now that the Dodgers face an early 2-0 deficit. Arenado's batting .241 with 17 home runs. And that looked like it was a strike that was on the inside part of the plate. But you could kind of track it as it was coming out of Justin's hand. I feel like this is the same thing that's plagued Edwin Diaz the last couple of days. I think guys that throw kind of sidearm or partially sidearm have a harder time fooling people, as Arenado gets fooled on that one, swings and misses. Because when they throw, their arm comes sideways, and that's the path that the ball stays on the entire flight, or at least most of it. But when you throw overhead, right, kind of vertically from top to bottom, then there's a lot more variance in terms of where that ball ends up, high or low. And the next pitch is fouled back, and now the count's full, 3-2. And the next pitch is on the way. And outside. And he walks Arenado. So 2 walks and a home run given up by Robleski in this very first inning. And he immediately gets the ball back from the catcher and marches off the mound and drops a big F-bomb. That was obvious. So now the 6-hitter, Vargas, comes up. First pitch misses to him inside. Vargas is batting .273 on the season. And that one's fouled back, and Vargas stumbles across the plate because he swung so hard. Almost like he's sensing an opportunity to blast a home run, and he put everything he could into that swing and lost his balance. Pitch on the way, and line to center field for a hit. So with 2 outs, the Diamondbacks doing some damage. And already now, a huddle at the mound, including the pitching coach, getting ready to face Tim Tawa. 2 outs and runners at first and second. Tawa playing center field today instead of first base. And he's batting .235 on the season. In the last 25 games, he's right around 300 with 5 home runs. Against the Dodgers, he's almost batting .500 this season. So the pitching coach coming out and making sure that Wroblewski, I'm sure, is aware of where not to throw the ball and potentially fall behind 5-0 in the first inning. That one's fouled off. So the count starts 0-1. And this one is grounded to Mookie Betts, picks it up at the backhand and goes to the close base. That is second, throwing to Tommy Edman, and for the third out of the inning. But just like that, with a home run and a couple of walks, Wroblewski allows the Diamondbacks to strike first blood. And at the end of one, it's the Dodgers 0 and the Diamondbacks 2. So Tommy Edman comes up and chooses to bat from the right side of the plate. And Rodriguez goes back to work to face a batter who is now at around .287 on his season average. Edman has 3 home runs, although he swings at one way outside there and misses. And he has 22 RBI. And that one also swung on and missed, so another strikeout for the Dodgers. Way too often, too early. And that'll bring up Mookie Betts. Mookie with a .231 average. Not much in the home run category for Mookie, especially compared to earlier in his career. He's got 13 on this season. And looks at the first pitch for a strike. G's OPs, as they say. Dodgers behind early. And that one misses. This one hit pretty deep to right field. Corbin Carroll going back on his horse and catches it with his back to the fence. Pretty deep at the warning track. So a little scare for the Diamondbacks there. But ultimately, no serious injury as they make the second out of the inning. And now Kyle Tucker comes up, who hit a home run yesterday. And that was really important as far as the Dodgers being able to clinch that victory and break the losing streak. Fouls that pitch back. He has 11 home runs on the season. So nothing like some of the totals he's had in the recent past. And his average is 244. Next pitch on the way to Tucker. And it's grounded to second base. Vargas picks it up and throws to first. No problem for the third out of the inning. So 2 times up, and quick work the Diamondbacks make of the Dodgers, who are still scoreless. And as we go to the bottom of the second, it is the Dodgers 0 and the Diamondbacks 2. So the only way to get on a winning streak is to change some of your habits and change the story and the pattern. It's more than just getting one win, obviously, like yesterday in extra innings. But right now, the pattern is remaining. So with the Dodgers, in the very first inning that Robleski goes to the mound, after we talked about this in the preview, they fit the bad part of the recent pattern, and that is having a starting pitcher give up a home run and the team get behind early. Robleski now, with that last inning and then the 2 games prior, has given up 9 home runs combined. Next batter up, the 8th hitter, Locklear. Locklear is batting .276. And Waldschmidt up next, who put the dagger in the Dodgers' heart 2 nights ago with a walk-off home run. And that one catches the strike zone. Counts 1-1. One kind of jammed him up inside, and it was a little bit of a check swing. And with that check swing, he's able to poke it just fair inside the foul line at right field, and it's in a tough place for Kyle Tucker. Can't really do anything about that. And Locklear starts with a stand-up double to start the inning. So now Waldschmidt comes up, batting .285. Waldschmidt shows bunt, pulls it back. And you wonder if he's really trying to bunt or if he's just trying to mess with Robleski's mindset, because, as I said last inning, when he gave up a walk after another walk and a home run, he just came right off the mound and dropped an F-bomb. But he showed bunt twice, so he's obviously serious about that. And he does bunt here, and Wrobleski comes up and throws it over the head of Freddie Freeman. Oh, he almost tried to guide it. I know that feeling. He didn't just like pick up and throw it to first, no big deal. Actually, it wasn't Freddie. Freddie was trying to get to the ball, and it was Tommy Edman, who's much shorter, but still, it was a bad throw. And you can see Wrobleski kind of like intentionally slowing down to try to aim it there and not make a mistake. And a lot of times in baseball, when you do that and you're thinking, it actually does the opposite. It creates a mistake. And an error by Wrobleski, and another run on the board. And Justin Wrobleski now, as a player, is almost a different one since the All-Star break, when he played extremely well and he was on a high, having been named to his first All-Star team ever. So now he faces, all of a sudden, the top of the lineup for the Diamondbacks, Perdomo, who walked in the first inning. I hate to say it, but so far almost all of this lead is on Justin Wrobleski. Wrobleski takes a little peek at the runner and then grounds it to shortstop, and Mookie Betts picks it up and throws to first for the out. But now the runner that was at second is able to advance, and he's in scoring position over here at third base, as you can see, with only one out. No force out over there, and if the next batter, which is Carroll, who's 0 for 1, is able to fly the ball deep enough, then the runner at third can tag, and suddenly the Diamondbacks can be up 4-zip. Carroll swings at the first one right now. Tommy Edman picks it up and twirls around, throws home as the runner decides to try to score, but they are able to tag him out. Oh, that was a huge early play for the Dodgers. And he was out fair and square. Rortvedt was in the perfect position in front of the plate. Doesn't block it, so it's not an illegal play. But really made that runner have to stretch and get around him. But really the credit belongs to Tommy Edman, who did a great job reaching that ball, making a pirouette, and throwing right on target to home plate. That is such a difficult play to do. I mean, just try it right now. And you don't even have to throw as far. Pick up a tennis ball, wiffle ball. If you have an actual baseball, just go in your backyard. Put that ball next to you on the ground. Oh, let's just say 3 feet. And then jump over, pick it up, turn around, and throw to a designated spot on a wall nearby, and see how close you get to that designated spot. That's extremely hard. So now the 3-hitter, Moreno, comes up, and the count is 0-1. Moreno's 0 for 1 today. That one misses low. So the pitch swung on and blasted firmly to left center. This is going to probably roll all the way to the fence. Andy Pajes has to get on his horse to get it. Wheels around, throws to the cutoff person, who then throws it completely over the head of the catcher, Rortvedt. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. We we look like a little league team right now. Andy Pajes. So they show the replay. I didn't want to zoom in on that with the 3D to go and see that, but not see it as the ball came into the infield. It didn't even roll to the fence. So Pajes picks it up, does not plant his feet. He just jumps up in the air and throws to the infield. I didn't see who the cutoff person was that threw it to home plate trying to get the tag out. But when you jump in the air, you have no base, you have no feet on the ground from which you can create power, because your power in throwing anything, a baseball, football, whatever, shooting a basketball, comes from the ground up. And so I'm sure that's part of why the throw from the cutoff man probably was Mookie Betts. In that situation, that's who it should be. As Marte grounds to Mookie, who throws to first for the third out of the inning. But that person had to go deeper into, I'll zoom just a little bit, deeper out here past the dirt to go and get the ball that's just floating in the air. It's not a strong throw, it's not a fast throw. So now they're in a rush trying to get the ball home to hopefully tag out a guy who started at first base and was running all the way around the diamond to get home. And then once the ball was relayed home, I didn't see the throwing mechanics, let alone confirm who it was that threw it home, just completely sailed it over the head of the catcher. And so very quickly, the Dodgers are facing a hole. There's plenty of game left to go. And after 2, it's the Dodgers 0 and the Diamondbacks 4. Good to see you, Alaska. Take a video of me throwing it. Post it. Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm not saying it's impossible. Honestly, I could do it. I'm not guaranteeing or bragging that I could, but it's extremely difficult. What I couldn't do, definitely, at this point in my life, is do it from the distance and under the pressure that Tommy Edman was in. So far, no hits for the Dodgers, 4 hits for Diamondbacks. And the Dodgers right now are, you could argue, even though overall, if you look at our pregame command center, you can see right here, they rank in the top 10 in every batting category. That goes way back to the beginning of the season. Right now, they are no good at the plate. They are not, as a group. The last 3 games, if you include these early results, they've given the opposing pitchers hope for throwing no-hitters. So Teoscar Hernandez comes up, and it's his first trip to the plate today. In the first 2 innings, the Dodgers were 1-2-3 and get back out there on defense. Boy, that defensive play, I'm still a little bit obsessed about that. That's kind of indicative of the Dodgers right now. That and throwing that bunt over the head of Tommy Edman covering at first base. Like, those are things you expect a major league team to do and execute soundly on a routine basis. And earlier in the season, the Dodgers were making those plays like pretty much automatic. So I hate to say it, but this is an indicator of things having shifted. Not that that's some kind of headline for the Dodgers. I mean, you don't just accidentally fall into a losing streak for no reason whatsoever. But it's almost like something negative has seeped into the blood system of the Dodgers organization. And Teoscar Hernandez strikes out. So the Dodgers still hitless. And Kike Hernandez coming up. He's getting the start at third base today over Max Muncy. Hey, thanks for coming in, Alaska, and welcome back to California. Apparently flying back tomorrow. EK looks at that one and just barely misses. And that one's in the strike zone. The count is 1-1 now. So far, 4 batters for the Dodgers have struck out. And that one is hit the opposite way by Kike for a base hit. So the Dodgers get their first hit of the game. And Kike does the Freddie. So 1 out. And Ben Rortvedt, playing catcher for the Dodgers, comes up. He's batting .224 in the season with 1 home run. PK kind of jumping out to the first cut late, but does not seem to be starting with a big lead early at first base. And that one misses high. The early count to Rortvedt is 1-1. And this one is line to center field. Good job, Ben. So 2 straight hits for the Dodgers. Rortvedt on first, and Kike, the speedy Kike, at second base. And Shohei Ohtani coming up with a golden opportunity. First time up, Shohei struck out. Like we said in the first at bat last time he was up, Shohei at least didn't pull and open his body to the first base side early, but he did seem to close his eyes when he swung. And as you can see here with our command center, he's in the top 20 in every batting category right now, including 26 home runs. Since the 1st of June, he flies that one foul. Ohtani's batting .395 with runners in scoring position. Of course, we'd love for him to fall into that pattern right now. Ohtani faces an 0-2 count, 2 runners on, and 1 out. And Rodriguez checks the runner, comes home, and misses just low and outside. Boy, that almost looked like strike 3, but it missed for a ball. One-two pitch on the way. And looked at for strike 3. Although Ohtani right away pats his head and says, no, I want to challenge that. I don't think this is going to be a smart challenge. And yep, it's confirmed. So Ohtani's incorrect. The challenge is a failure, and the Dodgers are suddenly down to 1 challenge for the rest of the game. So Andy Pages comes up now with runners at first and second and 2 outs. And he swings at the first pitch and gets it through the infield into left center. And Kike Hernandez using those wheels to come all the way around from second base and score. And the Dodgers on the board. And Pages is in there with a double. Rortvedt now is at third, and the Dodgers, with Freddie Freeman coming up, has an opportunity to score again. And the first pitch on the way is hit right back at Rodriguez. He's able to knock it down, pick up the ball, throw to first in time. And so Freddie Freeman made really good contact. That would have been a base hit, I think, if it got past the pitcher. But Rodriguez did a nice job, as I said, knocking the ball down, collecting it, and throwing to first before Rortvedt could score. And so the Dodgers score a run, although they lose a really golden opportunity to get more than that. But it's still early in the game. And at the middle of 3, it's the Dodgers 1 now, and the Diamondbacks 4. Welcome back to LA Press Box. And do us a favor today in the chat. If you're rooting for the Dodgers, just type a 1. And if you're rooting for the Diamondbacks, the home team, type a 2. So 1 for Dodgers and 2 for the Diamondbacks. Justin Robleski back to the mound, becoming very quickly kind of a symbol, at least in my book, of the change in fortunes for the Dodgers. And he's going to face Nolan Arenado, who Robleski walked the last time he was up. Awesome. We got a 1 for Dodgers. Appreciate that. Once again, type in the chat 1 for Dodgers or 2 for Diamondbacks, depending on who you're rooting for. This one is blasted deep in the corner left field. Oh, this is going to be trouble. Oh, but Teoscar Hernandez jumps, a small little hop jump, and he's able to make the catch in the corner. Otherwise, that would have been at least a double, and Justin Robleski just looks at the ground in relief. And now Vargas comes up, who fouls the first pitch back with 1 out. Vargas is 1 for 1 today. And that one misses outside to Vargas. And that one misses well high and well outside. Now the count's 2-1 to Vargas. And that one is slide to right near the foul line. And regardless of whether it was technically foul or fair, it's going to be caught there by Kyle Tucker for the second out of the inning. So that'll bring up Tim Tawa, who's 0 for 1 today. And it looks like Wroblewski is, at least with this batter, able to paint the strike zone, so that's a good sign. And Tawa shows bunt, but then lets the ball go through. And this one is a changeup to Tawa, and Tawa makes easy work of that one. Hits it into left center, and it could have been trouble, but they're able to round it up quickly and keep Tawa to a single instead of a double. So a little more two-out drama for the Dodgers, because that's going to bring up the 8-hitter Locklear, who already hit a double. If he hits another one, needless to say, Dodgers are going to give up another run. That one's fouled back. The count's 0-1 to Locklear. And the next pitch also in there for a strike. So with 2 outs, Wroblewski's run the count to 0-2. Wroblewski, though, still looking for an inning where he doesn't give up any runs. That one is fouled back. So based on what I said earlier, when you have a pitcher like Wroblewski, even more so Edwin Diaz, that throws on some level sidearmed, makes me a little bit worried as a fan as he throws that one way high. Now the count's 2-2. Makes me worried as a fan that when you have a batter that sees a handful of pitches, let's say 5, 6, and upwards in one at bat, that they can kind of start to guess where the ball's going to land just because they see the pitcher pitch more often. And that one's fouled back. And that one is swung on and missed for strike 3. So another strikeout for Justin Wroblewski. And at the end of the 3rd inning, the Dodgers trail 1-4. So the Dodgers got to run back last inning and need to break this pattern of waiting until the end of the game to make a push. That is not a recipe for winning baseball. And Tommy Edman comes up to do just that, hopefully, who's 0 for 1 today. And struck out the first time up, chasing 2 pitches outside. And does the same thing this at bat. And the old saying, fool expects different results after trying the same thing over and over. Kind of jumbled and rephrased the old quote. I'm not saying Tommy was doing that on purpose, but needless to say, that's got to change this at bat as the next pitch misses high. And that one just high. And the count is 2-1. And this one's lined well. Oh, and it was going to be, under most circumstances, it'd be right in the center field for a base hit. But Vargas was shifted way over. He's almost directly behind second base, expecting, I'm sure because of the scouting report, Tommy Edman to pull it, playing the odds there, and did a nice job on top of that, hopping up and making the grab. So now Mookie Betts comes up and looks at the first pitch outside for ball 1. That one misses low for ball 2, 2-0. And that one inside, and 3 straight balls to Mookie Betts. And the 3-0 pitch on the way. Misses low for ball 4, so an easy opportunity for the Dodgers as Mookie comes up with 1 out and gets walked with 4 straight pitches. And maybe some chinks in the armor are starting to appear for Rodriguez. Not just because of that walk, but the Dodgers, the last handful of batters, have hit him kind of hard. Not all of them for base hits, but they've done a nice job making contact. Now Kyle Tucker comes up, the 6 hitter, playing right field, and he's 0 for 1 so far today. And that one misses low. And because of 6 consecutive balls thrown by Rodriguez, they now have a little meeting of the minds on the mound. I don't know if Tucker's really going to regain the form that he had before the Dodgers traded for him. But at the very least, it seems like he's not in the doldrums of the second quarter of the season, where he's shaking his head, where he seems lost, his body language isn't good. He seems more comfortable and confident, and it's translated into him hitting a few home runs recently, which is nice to see. And Tucker fouls that one back. Tucker looking at his shoes for some reason, and comes back in the box. But has an opportunity here with Mookie Betts on first base. And that one is fly to left, but not going to be any trouble. And Mookie's not going to go anywhere. He's just going to step a little further off the bag and then walk back to first. And now with 2 outs, Teoscar Hernandez comes up. Teoscar struck out his first time up, chasing a fastball. And that one's fouled off, barely caught up to it. Next pitch on the way to Teo after Rodriguez takes a peek at first, through, and the catcher tries to throw out Mookie Betts at first. From his knees, no less. Nice change of pace to keep him honest. Although I wouldn't do that very often. I don't think anybody really does. And unless he really thought Mookie Betts was getting way too far off for his britches, I would save that for another more realistic steal threat or a hit and run threat. That one's outside for a ball. So the count to Teo is 2-1. And fouls that one off. Now counts 2-2. The bat suddenly and magically pops back into his hands. Rodriguez taking a peek at Mookie Betts at first, throws home, and that one's fouled back, and the count remains 2-2. And the next pitch on the way is a changeup, and Teo's way in front of it. And this is a really good job by Rodriguez. He's not blowing people away with super fast balls. I mean, his fastballs are not nearly 100, let alone over 100. But he's just doing a nice job keeping the Dodgers off pace and off balance. He's moving the ball around. He's changing the speeds. And that's what you want to do, no matter how good a fastball pitcher you might be traditionally. If you throw the same stuff in the same spot on a regular basis, then anybody, not just major league batters, are going to kind of change their rhythm and adjust. But he's shown a real outstanding skill to keep the Dodgers off balance. And we go to the bottom of the fourth, and the Dodgers stuck at 1 for the moment, and the Diamondbacks at 4. So Justin Robleski comes back to the mound, and as I was saying before, kind of as good a symbol as you're going to find so far for the Dodgers' recent struggles. In some ways, almost two different teams before and after the All-Star break. Although the Dodgers were showing some struggles right before the All-Star break, and I was going, well, maybe they're just a little bit mentally fatigued. At least they're going to have a break. They've performed even worse since then, and Robleski is as much a part of that story as anybody else, because he was actually pitching quite well until the All-Star break, and he pitched well in the All-Star game. But since then, given up home runs. He made an error earlier today throwing to first on a bunt that allowed a run to score. Although he seems a little more settled in now. But he's only pitched 3 complete innings so far today. And he's allowed some serious damage in the first 2. And if you're joining LA Press Box today for the first time, awesome. And it's also awesome if you're returning. Do us a favor and help us get established with the YouTube algorithm. Get in the chat and tell us right now if today's your first broadcast with us or your repeat. So if it's your first, go ahead and type a 1 in the chat, please. And if you've been with us for more than one broadcast, go ahead and put a 2 in there. So 1 for your first, 2 if it's your second or more, as Robleski throws another walk. So nobody out, and Robleski continues with his command problems. Lets Waldschmidt get it first, who so far looks to have a little bit of a modest lead. So Perdomo comes up. And this one is grounded to third, and Kike Hernandez charges it, throws to first, and pulls Freddie Freeman off the bag. And another uncharacteristic error by the Dodgers. I'm not saying that that was an easy play for Kike to make, but I think Max Muncy would have made it. He definitely wouldn't have pulled Freddie off the bag, who, to his credit, tried to catch the ball in the air and then bring it down immediately and tag the runner. And it looks like he just was not able to get it there. I mean, like by an inch. While Perdomo ducked, knowing that that was what Freddie was probably going to try to do. So now with nobody out, runners at first and second. And normally this is a situation where I've said, Dave Roberts, get ready to pull the guy. He's struggling. I know he's a starting pitcher, but, and it's early, but get to the middle relievers. But honestly, like, our middle relievers have not been great, and neither have our closers. And the more often we pull a starting pitcher because he's struggling, as that one is fouled off by Carroll, the more exhausted these middle relievers get as the season wears on. So at this point, the Dodgers were really close because they had scored more than one right now. I'd say, yeah, you can't yank Robleski yet. Got to keep him in. It'd be great if he was able to force the Diamondbacks to hit into a double play. And that one's fouled back. And the early count to Carroll is 1-2. Next pitch on the way and swung on a miss for strike 3. So if I'm not mistaken, that is Wroblewski's third strikeout of the game. So we'll take that. And with one away. Speaking of pulling the pitcher, they're going to do it right now. So Dave Roberts and I had a similar thought. And at this point, I can't say what is right and what is wrong. But nonetheless, they're going to make the change. And Wroblewski kind of walks a little bit dejectedly off the field, shaking his head at the ground. As he should. You know, I don't know whether he's shaking his head at being removed at this point right after he strikes somebody out, or he's shaking his head at himself. It's probably a combination of both. Because at this level, almost every one of these guys just wants to continue to compete. And if they've struggled, they want to get right. They want to get back on track. And it's got to be a really hard thing as a starting pitcher to have to wait however long it's going to be, let's say 7 days, before you get another opportunity to get back on track. But he's had a few. As we said, he had a few walks that he gave up today. Gave up a home run. Threw a bunt over the head of Tommy Edman, who was covering at first, as that bunt was also being charged by Freddie Freeman, who plays first. And he gave up these runs that are on the board, and it's only the 4th inning. In the last game, he gave up 4 home runs. The game before that, he gave up 4 home runs. And let's go to the command center and see. They're going to bring in Edgardo Enriquez. So speaking of fastballs, that is not all he throws. You can't play at this level if that's the only tool you have. But that's probably the thing that's most remarkable about him. Edgardo's got a 3.13 ERA, and he throws regularly over 100 miles an hour. And that's one of the things that you can see with the 3D. You can see how fast the ball gets there. So you can see that there's a runner. Well, they're sinking into the dirt, but they'll come back. Runner at first, runner at second. Only one out for Enriquez. And his job is going to start by facing the 3-hitter, Moreno, who's 1 for 2 today. Starts him with a ball. This is low. Ball 2. Dodgers used 6 different relief pitchers like Enriquez yesterday to get over the hump and get that win. Now trying to get 2 wins together. That one's in there for a strike, 2-1. Next pitch on the way, looked at as a sinker, but still 100 miles an hour for a strike. So the count is 2-2. And Moreno calls timeout and steps out of the box. Trying to reset himself mentally. Enriquez checks second, and then there's a hit to shortstop that kind of splinters the bat. I think it broke into 3 pieces. It split all the way along the center axis of the bat. So needless to say, you can't get a whole lot of power on that. And it ended up being kind of it was a bloop shot just behind the infield dirt, where Mookie Betts was able to run to his right and make the catch. And so now 2 away with runners at first and second. And the number 4 hitter, Ketel Marte, coming up. He's 1 for 2, and he did the most damage at the plate so far today with a 2-run home run given up by Justin Wrobleski. And it looks at that one right down the pipe for strike 1. This pitch fouled back, and counts 0-2. This one is low, and it's popped up really high after a golf swing. Enriquez is charging, so is Kike. It's out of play. That one is also fouled back. For the moment, we're stuck at 0-2. And Enriquez gets ready to deliver the 0-2 pitch. And this one is poked into center field. Andy Pages is going to run up and not have any trouble with it. Catching it for the 3rd out of the inning. And 2 innings in a row where the Dodgers don't give up any runs. And hopefully they can put another dent in this lead. At the end of 4, it's the Dodgers 1 and the Diamondbacks 4. So Kike Hernandez comes up. First Dodger to get a hit today. And fouls that one back. I know it sounds silly, especially since Kike got a hit already. He's 1 for 1 today, but maybe we should start doing some bad news Bears stuff. You know what I mean? Like if Kike is not that tall, have him do like that one strategy that Buttermaker had him do, where he just crouch down super low. The strike zone becomes tiny. Although I don't think that would fly in the pros. Have some guys like stand close to the plate and let the ball hit them. That one is high, but swung on and fouled back for strike 2. If you haven't seen the Bad News Bears, I mean, it's like mandatory viewing. It's one of the mandatory baseball viewing films for anybody that watches baseball with any regularity. And if you have, and you have like a favorite memory from the film, put it in the chat. As he swings at that one, also high, and also fouled back. I don't have a favorite. There's just so many I could think of. I don't want to spoil it for people that don't see the end, haven't seen it. I don't want to talk about the end, but the end has so many memorable moments. But really all throughout the film. And if you're Gen X, just kind of that whole flavor comes back very quickly of growing up during that time when you watch that film. That one misses inside. So Kike battling, and the count's 2-2. That one fouled back. I feel like Rodriguez is showing a little bit of a pattern. You'd think the Dodgers can pick it up. They must have somebody charting in the dugout saying, okay, here's the pattern that the guy follows, both in terms of what he pitches and where. And it seems like when he's in situations like this, especially if he's thrown a couple of fastballs, he'll follow it up with a changeup that's just outside of the strike zone and catch the Dodger hitters swinging too soon. And that one misses high. So now it's full count. Kike very disciplined at the plate. An outstanding pinch hitter and situational hitter. And uses his discipline there to draw a walk. And so the Dodgers are in business with nobody out, the top of the 5th, and bringing up the catcher, Ben Rortvedt, who I already like better than Dalton Rushing. I like most catchers better than Dalton Rushing behind the plate because he just seems just high maintenance. He's trying too hard to lead people verbally, and some people that rubs the wrong way. You got to start with playing by example. And hopefully Rortvedt can be the hitter that Dalton Rushing could be, which is above average. He hits it to second base there, and it's a line drive that he drops. Okay, so the second baseman drops the ball, so then he throws to second. And I guess he was thinking after he dropped the ball that they were going to try to turn double play, but there's just not enough time for that. And it's going to bring up Shohei Ohtani with only 1 out and still a runner at first. And looks at the first pitch for ball 1. And this one is grounded to first. He also boots the ball. Shohei Ohtani is going to try to beat him there as Locklear dives back to touch the base as Shohei's booking it, and he gets there just in time to tag it with his glove before Shohei steps on the base. And this is another perfect example of where it would be smart to have a different kind of arrangement in baseball that mirrors softball, where they have two bags side by side, one for the guy that's running down to first base and one for the defense. Because that guy could have easily had a very large and fast man, Shohei Ohtani, step on his hand and who knows, break one or two bones. So now Andy Pages is going to come up. And he fouls the first pitch off. Two outs and a runner at second. And Andy's one of the better Dodgers with runners in scoring position. He's hitting .343 in those situations. And as he looks for the next pitch outside for a ball. Pages is 1 for 2 today. That one misses. Now counts 2-1. Freddie Freeman lurking on deck. Rodriguez is now over 80 pitches. And Andy fouls that one off. The classic Andy Pages at bat is either, if it's a productive one, either swing early and strike with a single or a double, or sometimes a home run, like literally on the first pitch, or battle a bunch of pitches off, frustrate the pitcher, and then finally have some success. And Andy does a nice job, especially when he has runners in scoring position, like this runner we have at second base, getting a lead, of being disciplined and striking, or at least swinging, making contact at anything close. Like that pitch right there. I mean, that was clearly a ball. But he's trying to be extra protective. And, as long as he fouls off pitches without striking out, then hopefully he's going to get what he likes and he can tee off on it. And that one, he swings and misses. It was right on the edge of the strike zone. I think it was just outside. And goes down swinging. Consequently, the Dodgers not able to put a little further dent in this 1-4 lead. That's where we stay as we go to the bottom of the fifth. So the Dodgers at this point, looking anything but looking like the Dodgers. maybe the two areas that matter most. That is starting pitching, just hitting, getting hits, scoring runs. Another game where they have a pretty anemic early output as an offense. But they only have 3 hits at this point in the game. And Phillips comes in relief for the Dodgers. So Enriquez is done for the day. And now it's Phillips' job to keep the Dodgers in striking distance as he faces Vargas, who is 1 for 2 with a single today. Also batting .274 as he shows bunt and then pulls the bat back. Takes that first pitch for a strike. And the next pitch he looks at, kind of a short check swing, but it catches the bottom of the strike zone. So the count's 0-2. And next pitch swung on and missed for strike 3. So Phillips starts with a K. Now he's going to face Tim Tawa, batting in the 7th spot, and he's 1 for 2 today. He has a single and is batting only .238 on the season. Looks at that pitch for a strike. And 6 home runs on the season. Pablo played first base in the early part of this series. Today he's playing center field. And that one drops in there for the early 0-2 count. So Phillips getting ahead often and relatively early with the first couple of batters that he's facing. Misses for a ball, and the count's 1-2. Make that 2-2 as the next pitch misses outside. Oh, and that one looked like a ball, but it was called strike 3, and the batter did not like it and also did not challenge. And so Phillips comes in and makes very quick work of the Diamonds lineup. And we're going to go to the top of the 6th. The Dodgers still trying to close this gap, having 1 and the Diamondbacks 4. So Freddie Freeman set to lead off the 6th inning. And it looks like Rodriguez is going to stay in there. I think he's getting close to 90 pitches. He might be over that threshold. He's at 83. And that first pitch lined to right field for a base hit by Freddie Freeman. And that is hit number 2,562. So Freddie Freeman continuing to march to the elite club of 3,000 hits for his career. And now Tommy Edman comes up. So this is one of those trends that the Dodgers have to reverse. They get somebody on, especially when they get the first batter on. What they don't want to do is continue to just leave that guy on and not bring him home to score one way or another. And it's been a collection of different situations. Not good timely hitting, chasing balls that are out of the strike zone and striking out when they're trying to do too much, as Tommy Edman check swings and misses there. Base running errors, getting thrown out, trying to steal, getting thrown out at first with too big a lead. All these things that are just not very sound and not very disciplined. And the 0-2 pitch is right there on the inside corner. And Tommy Edman doing exactly what people like Andy Pages don't do, and Freddie Freeman. And that is let a pitch go by. That's close in the strike zone with 2 strikes. You know, and he looks a little frustrated, but it was a strike. They show the replay. You can see it on the grid right there. And you got to swing if it's close with 2 strikes. So 1 away now with Freddie Freeman still at first. And Mookie Betts coming up, who's 0 for 1 today. And he fouls that one back. So Mookie already in a hole, 0-2. He's got to be swinging with anything close now. Lets that one go. That's well outside for a ball. And this one has popped up, jammed him up on the skinny part of the bat near his hands, and popped up out of bounds. And now there's 2 away. Kyle Tucker coming up, who's 0 for 2. He's grounded out and he's flied out today. And it'd be great for him to hit another one of those recent home run shots that he's had, and really put a bit of lightning into this Dodgers lineup. Looks at the first pitch, low for a ball, 1-0. And the next pitch is a called strike, 1-1. And this one is blasted over the jumping head of the first baseman. It's fair in right field, but it's going to curl into the corner, and Freddie Freeman, who is not real fast, is going to be waved all the way around from first base, and he's going to be safe at home, standing up for the second run of the Dodgers game. Good job, Kyle. Good job, Kyle Tucker. And this is what we need more of. I mean, needless to say, we need more hits and more runs. That's obvious. But the fact that Kyle Tucker was able to get an extra base hit, a double or a triple, in this case it's a triple, and also attack and score with 2 outs, which is not something we've done a whole lot of. So now the Dodgers are within 2. It's only the top of the 6th. And that brings up Teoscar Hernandez with another runner in scoring position. Now that Kyle's at third. And Teoscar Hernandez not looking good at the plate right now. A couple of pitches just by him, fastballs, with pretty good movement. Not fireballs, but this is a time where Rodriguez would throw his changeup, but and the next pitch swung on and missed. So not a changeup, 3 straight fastballs to Teoscar Hernandez, making him look silly. And this is exactly what Teoscar would want was fastballs, but not able to take advantage. However, now we're in the middle of the 6th, and the Dodgers are right there after getting another run thanks to the triple hit by Kyle Tucker into the right field corner. And now it's the Dodgers 2 and the Diamondbacks 4. So Kyle Hurt comes on, and it's hard for me to say whether this is a good move or not. Only because Phillips made such quick work of the Diamondbacks the last inning. And Kyle Hurt's been inconsistent lately. And I'm kind of tired of the nightmare of where we get a run or 2 back, and either we get closer or we tie it up, and then we make a pitching change and the guy gives up a bomb. Locklear's 1-2 today. And the pitch is way low, and it's a changeup, but Locklear just got completely fooled, and a nice job by Hurt, making him look silly. And a swing and a miss leads to strike 3. So the Dodgers right there, and Ryan Waldschmidt's coming up now. Waldschmidt definitely with the dagger in the Dodgers' hearts 2 days ago, after they worked really hard to get the lead late. And then all Edwin Diaz had to do was close out the game as the Dodgers pitcher and served up a cheese ball. Waldschmidt, who hit a crushing home run to walk off the game. And it looks like this one low for a ball. And the early count to Waldschmidt is 2-0. Oh, and this one's hit deep to left field. Teo's running back, but it looks like it's going to slow down and drop short of the warning track, and Teoscar makes the catch for the second out of the inning. So far, so good for Kyle Hurt. And now the Diamondbacks are back to the top of their lineup with Perdomo. Perdomo's 1 for 2 today. I would not be surprised if at some point Max Muncy comes in for pinch hit late, especially as it stays close here. And that pitch is inside, but in the strike zone. It counts 1-1. Next pitch on the way from Hurt. Swung on and flied to right field. And Kyle Tucker hardly has to move. Makes the catch in the third out of the inning. And a nice, quick, boring outing for Hurt at the mound. And we are done with 6, so 1/3 of the way left to go. And hopefully some Dodger fireworks, as the score now is Dodgers 2, Diamondbacks 4. So Kike Hernandez is set to come up. And Eduardo Rodriguez, the starting pitcher, is still out there. And he's thrown 97 pitches today. And he's done a nice job against the Dodgers. I don't know enough of his history to know whether I have an opinion about this. But honestly, I'm good with them leaving him in the game too long, as probably any Dodgers fan would be. PK is 1 for 1 today. He had a hit and he also walked. And fouls the first pitch back out of play for the first strike. Fouls another back. Rodriguez just about to deliver his 100th pitch of this game. And that one's low for a ball, 1-2. Nobody out. And that pitch misses, evening the count at 2-2. And the 7th inning is when the Dodgers, throughout most of this season, have done most of their damage on the scoreboard. Now, before the losing streak, they would score in bunches, especially around the 7th inning. That one gets fouled back. So, 3 of those and 1 at bat for Kike. And the next one's a fastball that misses high, and the fastball's only 93 miles an hour. And the next pitch blasted by Kike down the left field side, but it's going to curve foul. Boy, he was all over that one. So both of these guys battling. Kike trying to provide another spark. Rodriguez trying to get out of there without giving up another run. And another pitch fouled back by Kike. You know, and this is one of the things that the Dodgers have done during their World Series runs, which is having really, really difficult at-bats where they battle and make contact, as he does it again, swinging with anything close to 2 strikes, the opposite of what Edmonds done today. Stuck at full count. And the 10th pitch on the way. And another one fouled back. So we're going to see at least 11 pitches in this at bat. Now Rodriguez is at 107 pitches on this game. And this one is going to be popped up and fair in a little bit of a challenging spot, but not too much. The right fielder is able to run up and make the catch for the first out of the inning. And the Dodgers are going to pinch hit, but they're going to pinch hit Miguel Rojas, which I'm good with. I think he's one of the best pinch hitters in the game. And he's proven it time and time and time again. So we'll see what happens with the Dodgers infield and how it shifts, whether Miguel will go second base or not. But more importantly right now, it's all about trying to get a hit. Especially since he's in the 9 spot, and that means Shohei Ohtani's on deck. Fouls that pitch off. Looks at that pitch high for a ball, 1-1. Pitch on the way, and jams him up inside close to the hands. Not able to get any power on that. Kind of bloops in front of Vargas at second base, who runs up and makes the play easily. And now there's 2 away with Shohei Ohtani coming up. Rodriguez stays in. Just really saying something. Now he's at 112 pitches. They're leaving him in to face Shohei Ohtani. And yes, it's a lefty on lefty. But boy, you got to really know your guy and his fatigue level and what his conditioning's like to be able to leave him in this deep into a game. But Ohtani swings and misses at the first pitch. And the second one's fouled, and now suddenly Ohtani's in the hole. But needless to say, he's had some trouble today. He's 0 for 3 with Rodriguez. And that one's a check swing. It was a ball, but they're going to check to see with the third base umpire if Ohtani swung, and they said no, so it's a ball. And Ohtani swings, grounds it to second base, and it's picked up and thrown to first in time. No problem. And wow, really, really impressive work by Rodriguez. I got to guess he's going to be done now. Because by pretty much all baseball standards, this is the point where you bring in your relievers. And I think he was just about at 115 pitches for today. That's old school. And only gave up 2 runs to one of the best offenses, at least over the course of this season, by average in baseball. And we go to the 7th inning stretch, and it's the Dodgers 2 and the Diamondbacks 4. You can see all those pitchers on the left-hand side the Dodgers have used. Meanwhile, the Diamondbacks have had 1. And it's official. Guardo is done for the Diamonds and gets a well-deserved round of applause and high fives in the dugout. Now the Dodgers bring in Jonathan Hernandez, who's pitched in 14 games this year. He's facing Carroll. Carroll's 0 for 3 today. That one is fouled back. One misses low and inside for a ball. That's 2-1. And that one misses inside. So Dodgers very slowly climbing to striking distance as this game gets near the breaking point with 2 more bats minimum, the Dodgers. And so far, so good with the relief staff. If you missed the early part of the game, Wroblewski continues to struggle. Got pulled early. After a couple of walks, giving up a home run, and an errant throw allowed runs to come home. And Carroll flies out to Andy Pages in center field for the first out of this inning. Tomorrow, Tarek Skubal will make his home debut for the Dodgers. Recently acquired pitcher, one of the best in the game, from Detroit. Now the 3-hitter, Moreno, comes up, who's 1 for 3 today. Sees that pitch for a strike. That one misses low for a ball. Tomorrow, the Dodgers welcome the Kansas City Royals, who lost 10-2 today to the Chicago Cubs. In my opinion, one of the best teams in baseball right now, who swept the Dodgers right before this series. The Royals not highly ranked, not in the top of the standings, so hopefully a little bit of relief and an opportunity for the Dodgers to string together some wins at home. This one is hit to shortstop where Mookie Betts kind of goes to a knee and shovels it up, throws to first for the out. So 2 outs. And now Ketel Marte comes up. After he fouls that pitch that's low and inside, it's 0-2. So a little bit of a new positive trend, I guess you could say, for the Dodgers pitching staff, as that one's fouled off. That is middle relievers coming in and doing a pretty solid job after the starting pitchers have been really struggling. Although yesterday, Yoshi did not. Pitched 7 scoreless innings. Really gave the Dodgers a much-needed opportunity to win the game, which they did in extra innings. And right on cue, Hernandez punches the guy out. So strike 3. And so the middle relievers who have been rotating through on a regular basis, a new guy every inning since Justin Wroblewski was yanked in the 3rd inning, doing a pretty good job. And so we go to the top of the 8th, and the Dodgers have 2 and the Diamondbacks 4. And when you go to our command center, You can see quite the contrast at the bottom of your screen. All of the pitchers the Dodgers have used so far, starting with Justin Robleski, who barely made it into the third inning. It was knocked out because he gave up 6 hits, one of those being a home run. You can see over here on the right-hand side. Did have 3 strikeouts, but he also had 3 walks. That's a terrible ratio. So it's unfortunate that the middle relievers have had to do so much. And usually I'm knocking them and saying that's the weak point of our team. But currently, especially with the losing streak that we just broke yesterday, that has not been the case. And you can see right here, we put in Edgardo Henriquez, didn't give up any hits. Evan Phillips didn't give up any hits. Kyle Hurt didn't give up any hits. And now, most recently, Jonathan Hernandez. Of course, that's on top for Robo of the last 2 starts before today, where he gave up 4 home runs in each of those innings. So a couple of changes now for the Diamondbacks. Tim Tawa comes from center field back to first base. And most importantly, Taylor Clark going to take over, who is a guy with a very solid 2.24 ERA. And he's going to start by facing Andy Pages. And he is 1 for 3 today. Now, Clark has a good ERA, but the last time he was in, he got tagged, in fact, 3 straight at bats. So hopefully the Dodgers can capitalize on any struggles he might be having. No question, now's the time, with only 6 strikes left in their back pocket. Swings and misses there. And Andy's starting with an early hole. And swings and misses there. So 2 strikes to Andy. But like I said earlier, he likes to battle. He does a good job of swinging at anything close when there's 2 strikes. We call that protecting the plate. That one misses outside. And that one is swung on and hit in the hole to left. So Andy Pages with a leadoff single. And that's exactly how the Dodgers wanted to start this off. And also Freddie Freeman coming up, who I can't remember the last time he's hit a home run. He's been really good at hitting base hits. In fact, I think he's got a 15 or a 16 game hitting streak minimum. And swings at the first pitch, hits it right away to the second baseman. Doesn't even have to move. Turns, throws to second, and then from second on to first for the double play. So high hopes turn to yet another double play hit into by the Dodgers. And the last time I looked, they lead baseball in terms of, or at least the National League, in terms of hitting into double plays. So Tommy Edman comes up now. And Edmonds swings at this one. It goes into the hole, but not through, as the second baseman does a nice job, Vargas, of getting to the ball, backhanding it, and throwing to first for the final out of the inning. And that double play really changed the complexion of the inning. Went from very hopeful to somewhat dour. And, I'm sure all fans that have been following them lately going, here we go again. But the Dodgers do have one more opportunity. And at the middle of the 8th, it's the Dodgers 2 and the Diamondbacks 4. So Arenado set to come up for the Diamondbacks. And Hernandez stays in. Arenado in the 5 spot, who's 0 for 2 today. He has walked once. He has 17 home runs on the season. Kevin Ginkel is getting loose in the bullpen for the Diamondbacks, hoping to close this game out. And this one grounded to Freddie Freeman, who was able to come up and step on the bag after collecting the ball very easily for the first out of the inning. So next up is the 6-hitter, Vargas. He's 1 for 3 today with a single. And he's batting .273 on the season with 55 RBI. You can see Kike Hernandez over here at third base playing up pretty close. That one misses. This one's grounded to second, and Tommy Edman gets over to it, throws it to Freddie Freeman for the second out of the inning. And Hernandez so far has faced 5 batters, gotten them all out. Next challenge is the 7-hitter Tim Tawa, who is shifted from center field to first base now. The first pitch misses inside for a ball. Next one's high for ball 2. And that one makes Tawa look kind of silly. Curveball that drops out of the strike zone. Swings and misses. This one is chopped to third base. Kike Hernandez picks it up and is able to throw to first without much trouble for the third out of the inning. And the Dodgers are coming up with their final 3 outs to at least pull even with the Diamondbacks and give themselves a chance to still win this series. Dodgers 2, Diamondbacks 4. So Kevin Ginkel comes in, pitched 52 games this season, and has an ERA of 3.67, trying to close this game out on the Dodgers. And first, he's going to face Mookie Betts. First pitch in there for a strike as Mookie looks at it. Fouls that one back for strike 2. And that pitch is high, and Mookie swings underneath it and strikes out. So Mookie is 0 for today. And it's going to bring up Kyle Tucker. Starting tomorrow, the Dodgers playing pretty much every day this week at home. And the next 3 games are going to be all at the same time. We'll start about 6:30, but first pitch is at 7:10 at Dodger Stadium. They're playing the Kansas City Royals tomorrow, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And Tarek Skubal, who looked really good as he's expected to in the first game that he pitched for the Dodgers, gets the start for the first time at home in a Dodger uniform. Then Blake Snell comes back for the Dodgers as of now and is expecting to get the start on the mound Tuesday. And the help from both of these guys could not be too soon. Some of the struggles that starting pitching has had. Although I'll say Roki Sasaki did a solid job a couple of games ago, and yesterday Yoshinobu Yamamoto did an outstanding job, as he almost always does. I'd say right now the biggest struggle for the Dodgers is even bigger than some of their starting pitching, giving up home runs and giving up leads to other teams early. It's just situational hitting and production overall for the Dodgers offense. So Kyle Tucker trying to do something about that. He's 1 for 3 today. And fouls that one back. So the count to Tucker is 2-2. And this one is flied high to left center, but the defense gets over there quickly and makes the catch for the second out. Now Max Muncy coming up for a pinch hit opportunity with 22 home runs this year, a couple behind Shohei Ohtani for the lead on the Dodgers staff. He's 0 for 6 in this series. The Dodgers go home this week. They are going to have Max Muncy World Series home run bobblehead night. And some chants break out in the Diamondbacks stadium saying beat LA. And this one's high, but Max Muncy swings under it for a strike. This one misses low, and Max holds up for a ball. Counts even 1-1. And that one's fouled off. And now the count's 1-2, and the Dodgers are down to their final strike. Pitch on the way from Ginkel to Muncy. And well placed, low and a little bit outside, but still within the strike zone, getting Max to chase. And the Dodgers strike out, and they lose the series and allow the Diamondbacks to close the gap. Although the Dodgers still lead the National League West. And so you can see the box score here from today. At least the batting side. And we already showed you earlier the pitching side, where the Dodgers really did a solid job on the mound after Justin Robleski put them behind early. But as we said before, the biggest challenge, in my opinion, is Dodger hitting right now. I mean, they're firmly in a team slump. if you ask me. And it's based partly on timing and then just overall production. So, it is what it is, and it doesn't mean that the season is lost. I mean, we still are in first place in the National League West, but we can't keep playing baseball like this, needless to say. And we'll see if our fortunes change when we return home and we get a couple of really bright spots in the Dodgers pitching lineup. One is going to be tomorrow, Tarek Skubal taking the mound after his premiere on the Dodgers staff, and it was a good outing. 6 innings, and I think he only gave up 4 hits, 1 home run, but did a solid job. And then followed hopefully by Blake Snell on Tuesday. So thanks to everybody for joining us today on the broadcast, the live stream. Charlie says thanks.